Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1572B, and today's date is May 20th, 2018, and the title of the episode is They Were Tricked, Played Their Hand, Watched the Pen, Pain, Next Event. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I uploaded a new interview with Charlie Robinson. It is on the YouTube channel X22 Report Spotlight. So all you need to do is go over to YouTube, type in X22 Report Spotlight. It will bring you right to that video, that interview. You can watch it right on YouTube. Or you can go to x22report.com or newsentinel.com. Scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side. You'll see the interview there. You can play it right on the sites. Or go to Steemit, that is steemit.com/@X22Report, and you can play the interview right on Steemit. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we can see that everything is starting to come out into the open, and Trump is continually tweeting, and he called for the Department of Justice to release or review a cache of documents that will allow congressional investigators to get to the bottom of the revelations that the FBI sent an informant to infiltrate the Trump campaign. Now, the informant was identified as 73-year-old University of Cambridge professor Stephen Halper, a U.S. citizen living in London who approached 4 campaign aides during the 2016 U.S. election for purposes of espionage on behalf of the FBI. Now, what is espionage? Well, the definition is the practice of spying or of using spies, typically by governments, to obtain political and military information. Now, Halper is a longtime FBI CIA asset whose former father-in-law was former Deputy CIA Director Ray Klein, notably got caught spying on the Carter administration during the 1980 election. And we see right now that Trump is out there and he's saying, you know, if the FBI or the Department of Justice was infiltrating a campaign for the benefit of another campaign, that is really a big deal. Adding, only the release or review of documents that the House Intelligence Committee, also the Senate Judiciary, is asking for can give the conclusive answers, drain the swamp. So how did we get to Stephen Halper? Well, on August 22nd, 2017, Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson told congressional investigators that former MI6 spy Christopher Steele said the FBI had corroborated parts of this unverified Trump-Russia dossier with a human source from inside the Trump organization. Very interesting. On March 25th of this year, the Cambridge professor Stephen Halper had met with the Trump aide George Papadopoulos and 2 other campaign advisors, including Carter Page. In September 2016, Halper contacted Papadopoulos and lured him to London for work on foreign policy paper for the sum of $3,000. Halper reportedly asked George, "You know about hacking the emails from Russia, right?" The Trump aide reportedly told Halper he didn't know anything about them, and the topic was then dropped. On May 11th, journalist Paul Sperry noted an entry in Stephen Halper's Wikipedia page that read, "He has been exposed as a CIA and MI6 spy behind the FBI Russiagate investigation of the Trump campaign as an informant to the Mueller special prosecutor's investigation." And that was quickly then taken down from Wikipedia. Sperry also tweeted in summer 2016, Brennan, with his FBI liaison Strozik, along with help from Kerry, were trying to set Russian espionage traps for minor players in the Trump campaign through cultivated intel assets. On May 15th, congressional investigators were reviewing Glenn Simpson's August 2017 testimony regarding the human source from within the Trump organization. On May 16th, at least one government informant met several times with Mr. Page and Mr. Papadopoulos. The report also disclosed the existence of Operation Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI's code name for their earlier Trump-Russia investigation, which they say originated after the Australian diplomat Alexander Downer told authorities that the Trump aide bragged in May 2016 that he knew the Russians had Hillary Clinton's emails. CIA Director John Brennan, FBI agent Peter Strzok, and Secretary of State John Kerry were working with the informant Halper to set Russian espionage traps for members of the Trump's campaign as part of Operation Crossfire Hurricane. Finally, on May 18th, the Washington Post, New York Times, they published a report which don't mention the informant's name but included enough detail to easily identify him as Halper. Halper has been a spook for decades, enlisted by the FBI in the summer of 2016 to spy on members of the Trump campaign. According to all accounts, the U.S. intelligence community was categorically, by definition, spying on the Trump campaign. The big question here is, will the Department of Justice hand over those documents? And we will have to wait and see, but we know from Q, pain is coming. Now, as we know, Trump canceled the Iranian deal, and the Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif has been making the rounds throughout all of Europe, trying to gain support and find out if they're going to support this deal. Now, he said something very interesting where he was visiting with the EU energy chiefs and saying, listen, political support is great. We love that you're supporting this politically. But we need practical steps to strengthen economic ties with Iran, because political support is just not enough. We need money. We need something else here. And I think what is happening is they're asking the EU members to basically take over the payments to Iran. And I think this is the message that he is pushing out there, because political support doesn't do it. If you want us to stay quiet, we need something else. We see the UN right now. They decided, and this is the United Nations Human Rights Council, they voted on a resolution and they decided to dispatch an independent international commission of inquiry to investigate all alleged violations and abuses in the context of the military assaults on large-scale civilian protests that began on March 30th of 2018 in Gaza. They're going to look into the mass shootings and what is going on here. Now, the UN top human rights body passed the resolution with 29 votes in favor, 2 opposed, and 14 abstentions. The 2 HRC members in opposition, of course, was the United States and Australia. The UK abstained, and Israel condemned the whole thing. So they're going to look into what was really going on there. Are they going to come up with anything substantial? We don't know. We'll have to wait to see, because we know that the UN is corrupt, and they usually investigate and they come up with nothing, saying, oh yeah, they were to blame, they both were to blame, and it's both sides. And we can see this throughout all the investigations. And we know that a lot of these members are paid off. There's a lot of corruption and whatnot within the UN. We see the Trump administration allegedly is going to withdraw its assistance from the opposition-held areas in the northwestern part of Syria. And I think what is happening right now is that all the money is going to be stopped. And basically what's going to happen is all the training programs and everything else that is happening in Syria, it's ending. And the reason why it's ending, because the U.S. influence in Syria is about to end. We also have the senior Russian officials. They're saying, listen, it is time. U.S., Turkey, Iran, they all need to withdraw from Syria. Syria is going down the political process line. There's no reason to have these countries in here. Syria has complete control of the country, and we need all foreign troops to remove themselves from sovereign Syria. And we see right now this is continually a call that is being pushed by Russia, by Syria, over and over and over. And there's going to come a time where these foreign troops are going to have to remove themselves, because if there's no Islamic State, the terrorists are on the run. They're making deals with the moderate rebels. They're busing them out of there. Why are they there? They're running out of excuses. And the timer is ticking down right now. Now, Q has dropped a lot of intel. And we know from Q's posts that Q warned us that something was about to happen because we know that bad news is going to break. But there is a spin to this, and Q kind of tricked the deep state, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But first, Q dropped additional posts after the event which occurred in Texas. So let's go over what Q has dropped here. Now, during a standard weapons inventory at an Air Force base in North Dakota on May 16th, M-240 7.62 caliber weapon was discovered missing. The 5th Bomb Wing and 91st Missile Wing immediately began a search of their weapons inventories and opened an investigation with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. This investigation is ongoing, and more information will be provided as it becomes available. This is coming from the command statement. Now, when you look at this, this is a machine gun. And this is something that the Armed Forces uses. This is the missing machine gun. Now, what's very interesting is that a box of ammo fell from a military helicopter, crashed through the roof, and landed in the middle of the classroom at an elementary school in El Paso. And this is in Texas. Now, nobody was in the building because it was 3:45 and all the kids had left. So there were no injuries. And we do have pictures of this, and there was ammo. Now, these bullets, they're huge because they fit into the machine gun. And what's very interesting about this is that the school name was Parkland Elementary. Very interesting. So let's go a little bit further here. And let's see what else is very odd. Now, they chose Parkland Elementary to make a point. They're sending messages. They're broadcasting what they're planning. Because think about it. If we go down the list with the words Parkland High School, we had the shooting. Parkland Middle School, students were killed during a walkout. Parkland Elementary, ammo falls on school from a military helicopter. Parkland Memorial Hospital, that's where JFK was taken after being shot. There is also Parkland Middle School in Rockville, Maryland, that there was some type of an event. What happened in this area? A bunch of school buses were burned. Now, it's very odd, and I think it was like 25 school buses. They were destroyed when a fire broke out. Now, all of these have the same school name. And to me, they're broadcasting a message. This is not going to end. This is going to continue. And these events are going to get worse and worse as time goes on. Now, Q dropped some other posts where he changed the password. The password was leaked again, changed the trip code, and this is not done by accident. This is being done on purpose. It doesn't mean that Q doesn't have control of the board. It's trapping certain individuals that are reading this and confusing them. And this is all purposeful. How do we know this? Because when you look at the trip code, you knew when the trip code was set, the pain would be delivered -23. This is more evidence of foreknowledge, which means most likely on the 23rd of May, the pain is going to be delivered. So when we look at this, we can see that it wasn't going to happen on Friday the 18th. The news was going to drop on the 23rd. Now, think about this for a second. What happened on the 19th? An event. So something is going to happen, and Q is purposely saying, I'd watch the news that day. Pain is coming. Watch the pen. And it looks like it's Trump's pen with Trump's signature, and a picture was taken. And I'm wondering if this is an executive order or something, but I looked through the White House and all that stuff. It's not published as of yet. So it looks like something will be coming. And Trump tweeted, if the FBI or Department of Justice was infiltrating a campaign for the benefit of another campaign, that is a really big deal. Only the release or review of the documents that the House Intelligence Committee, also Senate Judiciary, is asking for can give the conclusive answer, drain the swamp. Now, we just read that tweet because we can see that they found out who the individual was who was spying on the campaign. Now, Q also dropped in post 1422. They thought it was coming on Friday, the 18th, when the event occurred. Remember, If we go back to the previous drop, it was, what do they normally do when bad news is about to break? They have a distraction. And we saw a distraction. But it looks like they were tricked because they thought that's when the news was going to break. They were wrong. Q says, follow the pen. And what does it really mean? It means they did this on purpose to have the deep state play their hand early. Now what do? Well, it looks like with Q's post 1423, something else is about to happen, because Q posted back on February 16, 2018, UK stay alert Q, and posted a picture of traffic. And we can see that Q is saying now, note the time, note the vehicles on the road, compare against 2/16/18, the photograph then, 6 serve value targets, UK, US, US, UK, which means something is going to happen in the UK. And Q continually says, follow the pen, 1424, May 20th, follow the pen, think timing, coincidence, the attacks will only get worse, they are losing all control. Q, post 1425. Given we have now undeniable, on purpose, verified ourselves to be an inside source, expect the mainstream media, the clown army, to attack in full cooperation with foreign and domestic assets. Be prepared. Trust the plan. Conspiracy no more. We are in full control. Pain. And then Q ended up with post 1426. We are Q. And this looks like this is Trump's inauguration speech, showing the entire crowd and showing it was packed, compared to those other photographs where the mainstream media is out there saying that he had no one at his inauguration speech, which is completely fake, phony, and false, but they're continually bringing that up. And they're saying that all of us, we are Q, the people. We, the people, are Q. And we can expect different events occurring here in the U.S. and other areas. Q is telling us, look at UK, look at the United States, look at the foreign assets, and it looks like there's going to be pain and other events which are going to get worse as time goes on. And we can see that all of this is coming together, and we'll see what happens during this upcoming week, how bad the pain will be. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.